Welcome to the Chronically Ill Club. I'm your host, Jim Allison, a chronically ill individual who happens to be a filmmaker. On the show, I chat with other ill individuals and talk about the realities of living with a chronic illness, the challenges, the victories, the frustrations, and everything in between. So grab a seat, let's get ill. Okay, everyone, today's guest, Jaime Torres.
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough. Close enough. Close enough.
Torres. You gotta roll the R.
I'm wired than milk, but we're going to make this work. We've known each other for a long time, but please tell the people who you are, what you're all about, and we'll get into the rest.
Okay. Wow, this one's a tough one. I mean, I'm a differently abled artist, originally from Washington State. Back in the Bay Area now, I'm a photographer. I was a musician for a good part of like my life, 25 years of my life. So yeah, I'm just getting settled into the Bay Area again and learning to live life independently. And I've been working and starting my own little baking companies, making and selling banana bread. Doing the things that I couldn't do.
You're doing a lot, man. You're doing a lot. And we met each other, I think, at a Christmas party. There's a picture somewhere floating around of us wearing, I think it was like sweaters or something. We were wearing something on the couch. I swear to God, it's somewhere on my Facebook. I'll find it. But when I met you back then, I don't think anything had happened at that moment. I think it was still, pre what was going on.
Yeah, it was definitely before this.
It was. So you grew up in Washington, you said? Was that the original? That's where you grew up? And do you come from a big family or like family of musicians or?
Actually, it was a weird enough. I was the only one that came out as a musician in my
family. As an artist?
Yeah, as an artist, or even in the arts in general. I come from a very traditional family. Mom and dad have been married my whole life since I've, traditional Catholic upbringing, strict parents, even though they didn't play music, they had a huge influence on my musical taste because, my dad's from Mexico, and instead of like listening to traditional Mexican music, he was listening to Mexican music, but it wasn't the traditional genres. He was listening to like pop, rock, symphonies, and all this other stuff. And I remember all those sad ass songs in Spanish, and then now I realized, man, I went through my playlist, like I listen to sad ass songs too. And then, growing up with my mom, she had me so young that we grew up watching MTV together, so my mom was always into top 40. So
of course
they both influenced me, I was a musician.
That's awesome, dude. And how was it when you started playing music for them? Like, what was your main instrument back then?
The accordion was my first instrument.
Wow,
my very first instrument. They were very supportive. I'll never forget my dad got an accordion at a flea market over in Mount Rainier.
That's dope. That's cool.
Yeah, in a tiny little town called Packwood. But he bought it for his friend. And I started playing with it, and he saw that I fell in love with it. So he got me an accordion, and since then, that was my first instrument. The guitar followed and several other instruments, but...
I remember you showed me pictures of you playing, you would play at the BART stop in SF. Like you played there, you probably played some shows as well.
San Leandro with a coworker, we didn't even have a band. We just started jamming. We would jam after work. I used to work for a moving company in West Oakland. He was a professional musician. He played guitar. I'm like... Everybody had an artistic background that I met, and
that's awesome.
It was interesting. So we would jam out every day after work. And one day he was like, "Hey, I got a gig over in San Leandro. Let's do it." I'm like, "Let's do it."
That is the best thing to be surrounded by creatives.
There are different points of views,
Yeah.
As artists, we all have a unique eye. Everybody does, and that's what makes us stand out.
So you're Washington, you came to the Bay Area. Was there a main reason when you first came originally to the Bay Area?
The classic story, came for a woman.
Really?
Oh, a girl. Yeah.
Really?
Amy was the name of my ex-girlfriend or ex-fiance. She moved on to the Bay Area. She graduated, and she was a fashion designer. California College of the Arts, I think. I don't remember.
That's like my place. That's how I strangely know her. I think she was a year ahead of me, I think.
Yeah, so I came here to follow her, and my band was going on tour, and we were recording. It was like 2012.
Yeah.
And she moved over here in August of 2012. And I didn't get over here until summer of 2013 because I had to finish my, obligations with my other band. So
Right.
she was down here. So we did the long distance thing for a little bit, She was a trooper. I was too.
Yeah. Hopeless romantic you are. What a romantic thing to do. That romantic gesture to follow someone. My dad did the same thing with my mom. My mom went down to Florida, and he's like, I guess I'm going to Florida. And I was like, oh, you were a stalker. That's so cute. Oh my God, he stalked my mother. Very cool. No, that's
parents
awesome.
like to say the times were different then.
As someone who knows you, I know that you're very much into the scene of helping communities out and whatnot, an advocate. What made you want to be a freedom fighter in a sense?
I actually already have that right. I know exactly when my worldview changed, my perspective. It was my first summer here in Oakland. A friend of mine was a street medic, a protester. This was during the Obama when he was doing mass deportations. And there was a huge protest downtown. And going out there, I seen thousands upon thousands of people just walking and blocking the streets. What stood out for me were all walks of life were present. You had white people, you had gay people, you had old people, you had everybody. The community came out, and that was powerful, dude. And since then, after I had my brain bleed, I just, my worldview changed again, and being alive again was like, why am I here? And my thing is somewhere I got to help people somehow, some way, somehow. So,
and not to give it away, but I should have been like, brain bleed, what? like a surprise, like, oh. But now that you said that, I guess we can get into it. So please walk me through that whole day or week, or when did this start? How did it happen exactly for you?
It happened like in slow motion, but I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah,
at that time I was working at a Cannabis Buyers Club of Berkeley, known as CBCB. And it was only like 2 blocks from where I used to live in North Oakland. So I would walk to work, and I would work 4/10s Monday through Thursday, and then have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Well, I was working and I got off 9 p.m., but I kept seeing my manager's boyfriend kept coming in with paint supplies, and I just saw him by himself. I used to be an apprentice painter, and I knew it was going to be hard to do it by himself. Not impossible, but just really hard. And I offered to help him. He was going to paint overnight. So there I was all night at CBCB painting. But here's where I messed up. I forgot to call my ex. I forgot to call her, my former partner, let her know what's going on.
Right.
So obviously she would have assumed the worst. When I got home, we got into an argument. She was not believing that I was at work all night. But I really was. And
yeah,
I remember when we were arguing, I felt my blood pressure, like my head get buzzed, like a buzzing sound start. And it was intense, dude. It was like in the back of my head, and it was like intense buzzing. And I just wanted it to stop. Yeah. So I just grabbed the muffin pan that was right next to me, and I just hit my head thinking that, I don't know why, but at that time it felt normal. Think about it now.
You were basically trying to start the jukebox over, or how your TV's not working. The old ones, you have to hit the top of the TV.
Yeah, boom, boom,
so you're hoping the static will go away.
Yeah, so that's exactly, you get it.
Yeah, sure.
So I thought if I hit my head a couple times, the buzzing would go away, just like an old TV. No, it didn't. But that's a little foreshadow. Me hitting my head actually saved my life, dude. So check this out. After I hit my head, Amy is like, I don't have time to work, to argue anymore. I got to go to work. So she leaves to work. It's about 8 a.m. around there, 7:50 or something like that. So she left. I go and I start taking off my clothes and get ready to go take a shower. So I get in the shower and I just felt my blood pressure go really high. And I thought I was going to pass out in the shower.
Yeah.
So I ran out of the shower, grabbed my phone and called Amy. I'm like, you need to come back. Something's totally wrong. I need help. Something's wrong. And
something fell off. Yeah.
Yeah. So she said, okay. And then I proceeded, it was getting worse and I was freaking out. The best way to describe what was happening, God, man, I felt like I was in a mech suit watching myself break down, dude. I couldn't walk anymore. and I fell on top of some chicken wire and I cut myself right here in my chest.
Oh my God, dude.
Scar. So if you want to know, it's still there. So yeah, and then I lost all balance and I just leaned against a garage that was there, and my head tilted this way, and I just immediately started vomiting, and I couldn't stop it.
Wow.
And that's when Amy showed up, and she called the ambulance, and the ambulance got there. And dude, at the time, there was a huge heroin epidemic happening in Oakland, and they thought I was overdosing. And
no shit.
And then Amy told them that I hit myself in the head, that maybe that's what was. So they took me to the hospital, or they took me to the stretcher into the back of the ambulance, and that's when the lights went out. I thought I died. I thought that was it, you know? But because of that brain injury, or me hitting my head, they did an MRI. And because of the MRI, or me hitting my head, they were looking to see if I had any damage up here, but they didn't see anything. But they did see down in my brain stem, I had like blood. So they put me in a medically induced coma to bring my blood pressure down, because they couldn't operate back where it was at. They called it the pons portion of the brain, and it was too risky to operate. So they put me in a medically induced coma. I was in a coma for 2 days, and it felt like I was out for a week.
That's wild, man. Well, first of all, I'm freaking glad you're here still. That's
oh my,
because you know the percentage wise, like it's not that great for.
Oh, I shouldn't have lived, dude. Yeah. The nurses started calling me living miracle. The doctor said I was 1 in 450,000 that it happens to. Like, some people haven't, but not that severe. Mine was severe.
I mean, it's I've heard stories about this when you're unconscious or in coma. It's like a medically induced coma. Were you having dreams? Was this like a thing that was happening at the time, or just nothing?
I became conscious, dude. Like, I was by myself, just my conscious, if that makes sense. And the best way to describe it, I was like in the upside down. I don't know if you've seen Stranger Things.
What? No.
It was just,
yeah, I've seen.
It was just black, dude. It was like stars in the distance. I'm like, oh, okay. When we die, there's no heaven. There's no hell. You just float in the eternity of space. I made my peace with it. Now check this out. That's when my life flashed before my eyes. That's when I started remembering things that I totally forgot. And it was just like the movies, you know, all white and dramatic, all bright.
Yeah.
Memories and echoes. And I was like, oh my God, that happened. And then, you know, I made my peace. Like, you just float. And then 2 days later, this is another great story. My cousin came down. A lot of my cousins came down from Washington State to see me, and he asked the doctor if he could put headphones on me. And the doctor told him he had a traumatic brain injury. I do not recommend it. Well, my hard-headed cousin, didn't listen, obviously, and he put headphones on me, and he put on one of our favorite songs, "My Morning Jacket," wordless chorus. And yeah, I was in pitch black darkness, and all of a sudden I felt like a tug on my shoulder, and you know, being there, nothing was happening. So that was a crazy sensation, that tug. And I started looking up, and then I could start seeing, like, it started getting brighter, and in my mind, like, oh shit, that's the light. There is a heaven, you know. And so I like go towards the light, and the music was getting louder and louder. I'm like, wordless chorus, this is weird. And then all of a sudden I opened up my eyes. So I woke up singing to the chorus of that song. I lost my voice thinking I could still sing, but
sure,
no. I woke up to My Morning Jacket.
I'm just glad you had good taste, because what if you put like Insane Clown Posse on or something? You wake up.
No, never.
Yeah. Hatchet Man.
Ironically.
But you're hearing My Morning Jacket, and also what a great song to come back to life to. That's a good song.
Man, I wanted to go see them in San Francisco. They sold out for 7 days. I'm like, man.
I got something to tell you.
My Morning Jacket, if you're hearing this, I need tickets.
Yeah, for real, dude. You literally could have been like that sign that says your music saved my life, and then underneath,
literally,
like, really, it saved my, yeah, really, like, shout out to your cousin. What's his name?
Carlos.
Good thinking, man.
So
Good job not listening to the doctor.
Hard-headed fool. He's like a hip hop head. He's a producer as well, and he makes hip hop beats. And I was the cousin that would introduce him to like indie rock or other stuff for him to sample or turn him on to. And that was one of the songs that he loved with me that we used to love hanging out and listening to. So I got a follow up to that.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So,
yeah.
I mean, this is like, I'm jumping way ahead here. So years later, I worked for a DIY music venue in Washington State. An act that we got, she was from LA, and the keyboard player from My Morning Jacket actually produced her album. And I told her the story, and she's like, "Oh my God, they got to hear the story." This is like 2017. It never happened, but I had high hopes that she was going to tell them, they were going to reach out, and they never did.
It's still a story.
And I thought that was cool.
Man, so you come out of a coma, you can't speak, you're literally like having issues. I mean, you had to go to probably a speech therapist, and they see a bunch of specialists. Tell me, what was the next step in that process of coming out of that? Did you have a way to communicate to your family? What was your family saying to you?
Going back to what you said, so some people hear voices.
Yeah.
Now, I would hear muffled sounds. I knew when it was a woman or a male that would be in my room. I would hear, I can hear people having conversations. So, but I couldn't hear what they said. But as soon as I woke up, I realized what hospital I was in, and I did not want to be there. It was Alta Bates. It was the trauma center. Like, that's where all the people, like everything you see in movies of the bad hospital, that was it. And I lost my ability to speak. I couldn't speak. And all I could murmur was, Kaiser, to my ex. And she heard me, and she took me, they arranged for me to go to Kaiser in Oakland because I wanted to get out of the house.
Wow, dude. I would have said something stupid like pizza. Like, I would say the wrong thing and stay in the trauma center. Pizza.
That's not off brand for me.
No, dude, that's wild. So Amy's the one that kind of said he wants to go to Kaiser. How'd they transport you? Was it a helicopter or car? Just down the street?
They transported me in the back of an ambulance 2 days later.
Okay.
And they transferred me to Kaiser Permanente on 40, I think, in Oakland.
I know where that. Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like brand spanking new when I was there, and man, my family was there, and I started having hallucinations there, like the second week.
Yeah,
I saw my great grandmother who passed away, and another great aunt who passed away. But I saw them sitting there, and it was almost like the movie Star Wars, when the Force spirits, and they're like glowing there. That's what they look like, but it was them. And I don't know if I was on tons of drugs or what, but I saw them.
They're just like reading newspapers and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
They were just sitting down by the window, just there, nonchalant.
That's wild. Trying to get something out of the vending machine. That's great. I would freak out. Just your grandmother. Oh, this damn Twinkie bar! Like just shaking the vending machine, dude. So why did you want to go to Kaiser? Just Kaiser you knew in your head that Kaiser was the safer place to go, or better doctors, or better medical, safer?
That's a great question. The reason I went to Kaiser is because my work offered Kaiser insurance, gold. And at that time, it was like some of the best insurance to have. And I knew my insurance would kick in and I would get treated better. And I knew my life was changed completely. So I wanted to go to Kaiser and use my insurance.
Isn't that's the kicker, man? Like, this is a whole nother conversation, but like, it just goes to show you on death's door, you're like, I need my better insurance. Bring me to this hospital. It's like, so I got in a car wreck 7 years ago, and I remember the firefighter who like helped us out of the car. He goes, you need an ambulance? And I go, is it cheap? Like, I said that because I was like in pain and like I could have been hemorrhaging from my ribs, but like I was like, I think I'm just gonna get an Uber, or he's looking at me like, what are you doing? But he understood because it's broken. The system's broken. So I'm glad that you had the wherewithal, even with a brain bleed, to be like, send me to this hospital. I can't go to this expensive place. I will be paying the rest of my life. So good on you, dude. Man.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I think I saw someone like in the corner of my eye, like bloody, being like crossing my room, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
You tend to. You tend to, yeah.
Freaked me out.
Yeah, dude. It's, man, wild. Okay,
Yeah,
so
good
you
old
get,
American healthcare system, man. People call Ubers instead of ambulances now.
I don't know, or like GoFundMe's to like, I'll be in that boat soon. Like, God
Dude,
damn.
I was there. I'm not gonna lie. I had to do the GoFundMe thing.
But
and
it's
yeah,
understandable.
tough.
That's understandable because like I think a lot of people have that, like, we feel shameful that we need to, ask for help. But America is so broken that it's just the norm now. I have friends who have cancer. I have friends who have kidney issues. They don't have the money. No one has the finances right now. So the best we can do is ask for help from our neighbors. And again, we used to be kind of feeling shame, but like there's no shame because that's the norm now. It's not like other countries.
And that's one thing about becoming disabled. You lose the shame and you ask for help. I mean, you have to swallow your pride, man. And that's been, I've been disabled for going on 11 years and I still battle with that urge. It's still, some days are better than others, but 11 years later, I'm still battling that. I'm like, oh, I need help.
Man.
It's hard to admit it.
It's funny because like you're thinking that, but as an outsider from you, it's like, I don't see Jaime's like he's like, he needs money. What a weak thing. I never think that because you're just a person who needs help with something. And it's like, maybe I'm just a better person than some people, but like you want to help that person out because they're your friend, but also they're a good person. So it's like, I don't know. It's a weird spot, man. But like, yeah, that's wild. That is wild, that experience. So you go there, I'm guessing physical therapy started like how soon? Like a week later or?
Actually, I was actually a good candidate. A doctor came in, it was evaluating me there for like 2 or 3 weeks. And she said I was a good candidate for a rehab facility in Vallejo. And they had one bed and they transferred me to Vallejo to a rehab hospital. And that's where I had to relearn everything. But I did have some of the best banana pudding in my life there. I will say that. Silver linings, though.
So brain bleed, worth it. I know this is a side story, but like, so your physical therapist, like the people around you, your team, you probably became pretty close with them. Because every time I had physical therapy, you get to know people and they see you all the time, and we can cut this out, but like you knew the person from that murder documentary. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Man.
The Netflix.
So that was the trip, dude.
Yeah.
My physical therapist. Everybody that was helping me, everybody that was the physical therapist, they did this on purpose. Everybody was hot, guys and women, dude. They look like it looked like you're in the movie, dude. Everyone looked good, like sure. hot,
Yeah, they're physical.
You try harder, to rehabilitate. But he was my favorite physical therapist. His name was Aaron, and he was very attentive to my disability, and I felt we had a good chemistry and everything. And then one day he just disappeared. And the staff was like, he just didn't come in to work. I'm like, that's weird. So, one day I was in my room and it was like the end of the day, after all my full day of classes in rehab, we're watching the news and there was a segment. I'm like, holy crap, that's my physical therapist. And I look and dude, it was a whole scandal. The cops here thought it was like, a Gone Girl situation, and you can watch the movie. This is not a plug, but
American Nightmare, right. And I remember, I think I was talking to you, and I was like, "You think you asked me like, what are you watching right now?" And I go, "Oh, we're watching some documentaries like usual on Netflix and American Nightmare." And then you got quiet, and you're like, "Funny story,
dude." I don't know how I get involved in all this weird shit, but I do.
It's Jaime's universe. You just pull in the weirdest, just the most strangest things happen to you.
I should be a freelance reporter, man. All these news I could be reporting.
Yeah. They would all the weird shit will come to you, and then you just, you're done. You're good. After you start feeling when did you start feeling semi better or capable of like, getting up, moving around? You're now leaving physical therapy. You're leaving the hospital. What was the next step? Like, what happened after this?
Well, when I was there at the hospital, I was there for a month, dude. I had to learn tummy time is what they called it. Like they teach babies to get on your stomach because, dude, they had to pull me out of a crane out of my bed.
Sure.
Like I had to learn how to, they even taught me how to stand up. They taught me how to breathe, how to swallow. They didn't even give me real water. It was like this thick, viscous liquid. And because my throat muscles weren't strong. And
Wow.
so I'm like, whoa, I didn't realize even my muscles right here will be affected. So I'm like, man, I'm really disabled. So I literally had to relearn everything, how to get in a car. I had to train before they released me from the hospital, before I can come home. I had to learn all this shit. And my parents had to do a lot of like renovations. They're like all these things they have to like, make accessible now. And
Right. Yeah.
so like I was in there for a month before they let me out. It was September 22nd. I'll never forget 2015 when I left.
2015. Man. And when you got out into the world, as someone who was now disabled in a sense, what did you know? What's the first thing you noticed being outside, like in the real world, back in the real world?
I remember getting out of the hospital. It was super bright and it was hot and humid that day. And like, man, and I remember them wheeling me out. They brought an RV from Washington so I could lay comfortably in the back, go back to Washington. It took a bit. This happened to everybody, so everybody had to learn, how to do transfers and what the proper way to, get me in a vehicle and all that. So, it was a good learning experience for everybody that time, that day. But
Yeah.
I got in the RV. And
what was your mindset after returning home?
My mindset at that time, I was relieved that I was out of the hospital, because I was there for a couple months, 3 different hospitals.
Yeah.
And I was relieved, but I was also scared, like terrified.
Of course.
Because I was on the machines every single day. I had a breathing tube, a feeding tube. I had all sorts of IVs on both arms. They would check my vitals every day. So going from being okay, having that security, to not having it no more, it really messed me up, dude. Really, really messed me up. And to this day, I need some light. I can't have pitch darkness because it reminds me of my coma.
So you got PTSD, trauma. Yeah. Which is, it sounds weird to say, but that's normal, right? Because you were in such a horrific accident that your brain is trying to protect you. So it's like, there's danger. There's danger when it's darker. When you have this accident, what is recovery for you? What does that mean for you? Like, do they say you can get better, fully better, or what's?
In the hospital, the doctor told me that mine was a temporary disability, but then 11 years later, it doesn't feel like it. She said it could take years. Everybody's different.
Right.
And I'm at the point where I feel great. I've made a lot of recovery over the last 10 years, but since moving to California, dude, it's night and day. I can't even, publicize it really on my page like I want to, but I'm leaps and bounds, and I'm confident I'll be using a cane soon. I've heard stories of people having brain bleeds like mine, and 10 years later, they're back to normal, like 100%. So even if I'm not, I'm progressing at least,
Like, you're on the right path, and I'm hoping, I know you will, because when last time I hung out with you, it goes in chunks. You were in a wheelchair, then you were on your walker. So
on my walker.
I'm waiting for that cane, dude. That's gonna happen. Hell yeah, dude.
I might be a little overconfident, but I really honestly feel that it's gonna happen soon, dude.
I'll make sure, if you get too cocky, I'll make sure to kick that cane right from underneath you, and
thank you.
I'll be like, your head's too big. Get back down.
I'll make sure not to bring my sword cane.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I wish you had a sword. You don't have a sword cane.
Dude, I want a sword cane. I really do. When I get to the cane era, I want a sword cane. Your
identity has shifted. And how would you say it has shifted to the new Jaime 2.0?
Like I said, my perspective completely changed. I was still struggling. The first 2 years were the hardest. I was struggling with identity and self-esteem and whatnot, and acceptance of my new life. it was tough pill to swallow because I used to be independent, man. I used to go everywhere.
Yep.
And going from that to now I need 24/7 care was a hard transition for me. And we made it happen though, keep going.
That's what I've heard too from people who have also been, they're either disabled when they were born or disabled later in life. And it does seem to be, it's like you're used to it because you know nothing else. But then when you're used to it and you get that taken away, of course that's going to have some kind of, psychological effect, and not a good one.
It's almost like a jail sentence, dude. Like, I remember certain sensations. I still dream of running through a forest. I can hear and feel the wind over here, but I can't do any of those things anymore. And it sucks. I mean, there's a lot of things I can't do, but there's a lot of things I'm learning to redo. I taught myself how to be a sound engineer. I taught myself how to be a videographer, do editing. I taught myself how to do all these things. And basically, I want to do everything they told me I couldn't do. So,
which I feel with your mindset, dude, I feel like you could. I feel like you can. Do you want, hold on one second.
No worries. Take your time.
My dad.
Put him on the show.
Right.
Put it on speaker.
Yeah, right. Hey, can you hear me? Hey, so I'm on a podcast right now. Can I call you back? That's okay. It's okay. Okay. Love you.
Don't forget to put your dad in the credits now.
I know, right? So I had my health declined recently, and my life kind of shifted to not as aggressively as yours. Mine was like a slow burn where I have type 1 diabetes. I've had for 27 years. 27 years, complications can happen, and they did. I started having really bad neuropathy in my hands and feet. When I was having my complications, diabetic complications, you're the first person I actually called. You were the first friend that I was like, hey man, I'm not doing well. I don't know how to approach this. Life has changed drastically and dramatically really quickly. And you were really solid, man. You were very, very helpful, more than you probably could even imagine. Just because I felt safe calling you. I felt like I would get the support I needed and like just really good advice. And you did not, disappoint, man. I owe you a lot. Trying to relearn things is what you were talking about. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to learn my new body. The wear and tear of this shitty disease. It's just, I'm in the 50% of diabetics who now have a complication. I thought I was going to at least make it to my 50s, but that wasn't on the cards. So I was always aware something would happen, but I was so positive, like, not me. I'm healthy, I take care of my blood sugar. It can just happen. Life throws a cosmic monkey wrench at you, and you have to tumble hard sometimes quickly. And yeah, whenever I say, like, don't take life for granted, I'm just be honest with you, I don't think any of us took life for granted. Like, we enjoyed ourselves. We just lived. We're just going our daily business. We're just doing the daily things that we like to do, hanging out with friends, music, movies, just having a good time, existing. We're just existing. So when I hear, like, don't take life for granted, it's like, I don't think anyone in these situations ever do. I also do the thing where it's like, I probably won't be able to do this, or like, I'll be on this. Eventually my kidneys are going to fail. My eyes are going to fail. You can think that way, but I'm trying to tell my brain, with therapy too, I'm going back into therapy, how to kind of push that aside and not catastrophize. Like, I had to work myself up to even have this talk with you and just have like a conversation. But I feel like this show, or this like podcast or podcast, or whatever you want to call it, the series, I think it's going to be helpful towards people in our situations of having a chronic illness or some kind of illness, and whether that's disability or terminal. This is how, for me, I can kind of take hold of my life again, because I was a filmmaker and things have kind of slowed down. I'm not stepping away from the industry completely, but like, I'm slowing down because my health comes first. Gotta get my ducks back in that row.
Right.
Before they catch on fire and explode. My world's definitely opened up within just a month of just talking to people in my community, diabetic, mental health community. Like, I met a lot of people, so my life even feels fuller to really get to know people. It's like, what their illness is. Mm-hmm. And so in a weird way, to spin a positive light, it's like, I'm not glad this happened, but happy it happened.
Well, it does change your perspective. Yeah.
And it changes day by day, for sure. Like, if my meds are working,
the way you were saying, some days are better than others, man. I still feel that way. Sometimes there's some days I wake up and I'm like, man, I used to do this, and before you know it, it's like a pity party, bro. It's like you go down a rabbit hole. I used to do this, I used to do that, but I stopped doing that, and I catch myself. I'm more self-aware, so when I catch myself being, I used to blah blah blah, now I catch myself. Now I get to do this, or now I'm working hard to make this happen. Like my next thing is to use a cane, so I get to practice use move my walker, walking around. You have to motivate yourself, man.
Yeah, and it's like you probably thought this too, where at one point you just felt like you were just too tired to do it, because there's some days you're just very like. Having diabetes and then having a chronic, having another chronic pain on top of that, like it just amplifies my tiredness, because I was already tired. I like the chimes or whatever.
Sorry, my ring camera went off.
No, that was dope. I was like, I'm like, it was so spiritual. I started floating and talking about my illness. I've also noticed a lot of people that are dealing with situations like ours. It's like everyone has a really good sense of humor. Even if sometimes it's dark, it's like, I feel like no matter what, you got to just kind of go with it. Yeah, it gets dark. It gets dark.
Bro, if I didn't laugh at myself, I would have gone mad a long time ago. And yeah, your jokes do get darker, man. You start joking.
They get dark.
I'm Mexican, and in our culture, man, a lot of our jokes are dark already. So that on top of this, yeah.
It's like a nice combination right there, man. A nice hybrid of just darkness. Yep. No, man, but it gets you through. And I wish just everything worked better in, the medical field, the medical community, insurance, everything like that. You're paying so much money for this medical bill because insurance decided not to cover. It doesn't even read it.
$12 for a Tylenol.
Yeah. Dude, when it's a funny story. I overdosed on, like I said, funny story. I overdosed on insulin.
That reminds me of a funny story. Remember the time I overdosed?
Whackity schmackity doo, like just like woo, like that woo, the trombone thing. So I overdosed on insulin in Portland. My first time in Portland. It happens. A lot of diabetics accidentally Well, the funny thing is, what we found out was, and I wasn't using a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor, which tells me my blood sugar is constantly. Couldn't get the replacement in time. Insurance wasn't going to cover, or something like that. Gotcha. So I ended up walking a lot, and I was not having a lot of carbohydrates. I was eating salads and proteins, which you need carbohydrates if you're a diabetic and you're giving yourself insulin. So I kept thinking, instead of checking my blood sugar, I was like, oh man, I think I'm high. I'm probably high or something like that. And I just kept, I wasn't thinking. It was a weird vacation mode where I wasn't thinking as I gave myself insulin. And I remember trying to correct the drop in my glucose. My blood sugar was going down. I was like, that's weird. So I had soda. I had sugar. I had things to kind of bring it back up. But then around 1:00 in the hotel room, I was like, oh man, this is like still in the 40s, which is dangerous. Like you don't want to get into 40s. You want to be like at least in your 80s or 90s to be okay, or 70s to be okay. And I was like, uh-oh. And I kind of looked at my pump, my insulin pump, which is this bad boy right here. I have Medtronic.
Oh,
shout out.
I thought that was your little iPod.
It looks like, I have the next, they put, what's that band they always put on these things when it first came out? That everyone was really
YouTube.
Plays YouTube nonstop. It pisses me off, man. But
was it preloaded?
It was preload, dude. Preload. Apple fucked me over. This I looked at you can look at the history of how much you gave yourself insulin wise, and I was doing the math. I'm like, uh-oh. I was like, oh no. And like I gave myself over 80 something units, which is a lot, or like near 100 or something like that. It was bad. And I told Diane, I go,
what do you usually take for units?
Well, if it's a meal, the highest sometimes will be like a 7 or a 12, depending on if it's like pasta or pizza or something like heavy carbohydrates.
Carbs, right.
And Diana was falling asleep. Bless her. She was in the hotel room. She's falling asleep, and I woke her up and was like, "Hey, I think I'm in trouble." I was like, "I think I'm in trouble," and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "I might have overdosed on insulin." She goes, "What?" Because this never I never did that before.
What do you do in that situation, man?
we called an Uber, and the Uber pulled up to our hotel. This was downtown Portland. Yeah, and next to a Voodoo Donuts, which is delicious, by the way.
I've had them.
They're good. They're good. But the Uber picked us up, and the lady in the front goes, "How's your night going?" And I was like, "It's good." And my wife goes, "He's dying. Get him to he's dying. He overdosed on insulin. Go now." And so she's like, "Oh," and she was really cool because she sped up. She's like really going through traffic, like missing cars. And she dropped us right. She's like, that's the entrance, but I'll drop you right at the emergency. She brought us all the way up to the emergency doors. And we got in, and this big nurse who reminded me of Bender from Futurama. He was very intense. He did my blood sugar, 30. He's like, come on. He got really angry. He's, come on. Because I think he saw me wobble and he was thinking like, this guy's on something or whatever. And I was having a medical situation, a medical emergency. And so he dragged me into this room. And a lot of diabetics believe when they're in a situation, they think they're going to get shot up with glucagon or something, which is a quick, but there's so much insulin in my system right now. I had to eat throughout the whole night. I was force fed from 1 to like 9 in the morning. I had to have bread, peanut butter and jelly, and some juice. And I had to, it's called a complex carb. And
4-year-old's dream.
Basically, I thought it was great. And I was like, I don't know, like she came in, the nurse came in, it's like, who wants some peanut butter and jelly? I'm like, no. I was like, no. I was like, no. The shadow, no. And she was super cool. And then like, I think around 7 or 8, I started crying because I'm just like, that was a close call because I finally came out of it. And the funny thing is we went back to the hotel, we slept a couple hours and we woke up to, my folks were visiting us too in Portland. We're all meeting. So like we went to lunch and I'm feeling great because I have food in my system. My blood sugar's fine now. And I'm like,
so you're stable.
I'm stable as fuck. Like I'm stable as fuck. I'm feeling good. And my parents were, everyone, my wife, my girlfriend at the time, my mom, my dad, they're all sitting on a bench. And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful today. And like, I looked around, my parents and my mom were just like, just looking at me. They're like, God damn it. Like, man, what the why you do? It's like, we're going to go to the museum and we're going to get voodoo donuts. It's going to be great. It's like, I just like almost died. I came back to life kind of feeling. Yeah. So that's like that's the funny story there. But to go back to what we're saying, this is new for me. I'm doomed the best I can. Every day's different. I don't like medications, but now I have to be on more. I was taking insulin, but now I got to be on painkillers, gabapentin, other things. You know, they're finding like diabetes is savage because it's like I was a fancy car and then it just started rusting. The high blood sugars rust your insides, your organs, your nerve system, your brain. Everything gets kind of messed up.
I got an uncle who's blind, man. So
happens too. It's crazy.
You know, one thing you did say that I'm going to go touch on is when you said you're doing your best. I mean, if I can offer some advice, it just all you can do is your best every day. And sometimes your best looks like not getting out of bed and watching TV all day. Sometimes, you know, that's what it looks different from day to day.
Yeah.
There's some days I want to go climb a mountain, but you know, I'm not. And then some days I'm like, oh hell no. That's just how it is, man.
Some days you're like, that mountain looks rough. Yeah.
So recently, my mentor, he gave me some of the best advice ever. Shout out to Jordan. No one's gonna come save you, dude. When he told me that just keeps playing in my head every single day. No one's gonna come save you but you.
And really good.
Damn, that was a bitch slap of truth, and that kind of changed my perspective again. You would think that it wouldn't happen, but now I'm thinking differently. Now I approach things differently. You know, I'm doing the banana bread business. Yeah, it's freaking hard. You know, doing with one hand, really. And all we can do is our best now.
Wise words, man. Wise words. And on a positive note, that's awesome about the new business you're trying out. Like, I mean, depending on when this episode airs, I will pop up a logo on the screen and we'll go boop. And there we go. And so talk about your business that you're trying to get going. So
going back to when we were talking about diabetes and everything, my mom was recently, like 2 years ago, diagnosed. I think it was type 1 or I forget which
type
one.
Type 2, type 1, yeah.
Type 2, yeah. And she, so every time I would visit, I would see her like hiding like snacks throughout the house like a little kid, you know, and this shit she shouldn't be eating. So I'm like, Mom, you can't be doing this, you know. And I was seeing Oreos over here, a piece of cheesecake in the back of the fridge, you know. So that inspired me to start baking with monk fruit sugar. And from then on, man, it changed my life. And I introduced that to my mom. I'm like, try this. It's natural. I made her batch because I didn't want her eating bad stuff. So after that, it just one thing after another, I figured out I was good at it, and I loved it because it's therapeutic for me, man.
Sure.
As a creative, dude, I just put on some music. I won't even say a word. It's just like a ballet symphony. Is just what I miss most about like being a musician. I'm getting from being a baker, from baking.
That's awesome, dude. You got a rad Tui spirit there, man. Like the symphony, just like you don't have a rodent on your head, but man, that's awesome. That's inspiring, dude. Are you also getting into more THC or?
Well, I learned how to make my own can of butter, and I've infused it with banana bread, and it is amazing. Yeah, it's strong, but I got the texture and everything down right, and it works.
It's awesome, man. And that's medical right there, dude. That's going to help a lot of people.
But not everybody can smoke, Not everybody can do that.
Exactly. That's not the best way. And I've like, even for years, like I've been saying, it's like smoking. It's all bad. It's all bad. But the way you're doing it is much more safer. Props to you.
Well, also going back to the like what inspired me, that part, the diabetic part, but also I wanted low sugar for the African American community and the Latino community because we're genetically predisposed to be diabetic and have hypertension.
Sure.
So I wanted to have a sweet treat. I'm in Vallejo. There's a lot of melanin over here. So a lot of my peoples, and we do not take care of our bodies. That's just how it is. And with this, I just wanted to have a different alternative, because there really is no alternative out there unless you make it yourself or pay up the ass. Right. These stores, man. I'm trying to make it accessible and affordable for everybody. That's the goal anyways.
Smart, dude. Man, Jaime, I want to say thank you so much for doing this, man. Yeah. This was a great conversation. So let's figure out something. Let's either meet up in Vallejo or, we'll come get you. We'll pull you down here and we'll have a good time.
Stupid cats. The neighborhood cats just keep going in front of it. But anyways, you were talking all these nice things about me. You can keep going.
Oh, yeah. No, just thanks for being you, man, and we'll hang soon. And I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I love you too, man. And I'm honored that you reached out, bro. Seriously, like what you're doing is great because it felt good to talk about it. You're creating a community, and that's very much needed, man.
Hey, Jim here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is a passion project, so I'm hoping I can keep this going and keep interviewing people who have chronic illnesses, terminal illnesses, everything under the sun. People have stories to tell. These episodes are not cheap to make, so we're going to make a little funding thing in the description. And if you'd like to throw some money down, we can keep this going. Pass this along. Send it to as many people as you can. That would be amazing. And stay ill.